Alright, so we're going to teach you how to set up need to know. You can see trinket procs, the diseases and stuff that are on the enemy. Let's see if I can get some sort of trash mob. Okay, so there's this right here. Maybe there's a shark in the water. I will show you how need to know works. It's essentially like a Weakara's. There's a shark right here. Cool. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna drop dots on him. Boom. You can see right here, it all pops up on the screen, and he's dead. But you see how that works, right? Ooh, an underbelly elixir. So we're gonna grab that real fast. Let me just take a look. Anyways, so you could set it up to make it where the activation lasts. So if I would let the dots on the enemy, it would last 15 seconds or however long the duration is. You can increase the timing. So we go to the interface. After you install the Need to Know add-on, you go to configure mode and you can see buffs. So like right here, oh, I don't have Vampiric Embrace. I don't have Inner Fire. So let's click. I know you guys love when a player clicks. So I'm doing that to piss you guys off. Yeah, so you can set up buffs to see what you need to do. So right there, you can set up what you want to track: dots, under armor, shattering throw. You could track your cooldowns. You need to know the name of your cooldowns for each item. So first off, let's go enable the bar, disable it, enable. You can turn it on or off. Bar type, there are a bunch of types of bars. If this is a debuff, this is a debuff that I place on the enemy. Vampiric Touch, you would debuff the enemy. If it's a buff, like Vampiric Embrace, so you check this. It's called a buff. Then you choose the buff, type in the name, Vampiric Embrace. It should be exactly what is up here. The same thing will be when you click on an enemy target. You can see this is a debuff or a buff. So if this is a debuff, it's the debuff, and who is being tracked would be the target, right? So unit to monitor, target, because I want to track debuff. I want to track the debuffs, the damage abilities that I'm putting on them. So I track a debuff on the enemy target, right? And then on this one, I want to track a buff, and the target is me, right? Player. So unit to monitor, player. So it's going to be me. I'm tracking myself. Only show if casted by self. Same thing with the debuff. You want to make sure you're tracking the debuff. Bar type, it's put on target. Track the duration increases. If the ability is like the duration increases, you want to track that. Although I don't think that's actually useful. Now that I think about it, because it'll show like the +3, which isn't really too useful to me because the duration still gets refreshed, so it'll show you the full time that it is on the enemy without the duration increases. And so like you can get the duration increase to like 600 or something, which isn't really super useful. Okay, now moving on, debuff player right there, time format, you can change it to minutes. So like you want to track like how many minutes is it on the enemy, single unit, fractional seconds. So I mean, fractional seconds might be actually useful. You might be able to see like just how many seconds are on the boss, or if it's like half a second or something, in case you want to like use your ability and perfect time the ability. The fractional seconds might be min-maxing really well. Showing, you can show the icon. So if you don't show the icon, like it won't show it right there, as you can see when I put it into play mode. So I put it into play mode. You can see the two icons. I have the two abilities up there. When I take it to configuration mode, it doesn't put it there. Same thing with here. It'll show you the icons there. And then, as you can see, it's not available unless I'm targeting an enemy. So let me get on my mount and show you. But yeah, moving on to the next thing. Show, you can show the icon. Aura name, stack count, time remaining, spark, indicator if mine, and then override the aura name. So here we have an enemy right here, the totem, all my diseases. So play mode, you could track each like debuff on a target. So I'm not tracking any target. I don't have a target in mind, so I'm not tracking anything. It doesn't pop up on my screen. Let me see this. Oh look, I have all these debuffs to track. Oh look, I have more debuffs to track. Now you can have your trinket procs just be tracked no matter who you're targeting. So this is tricky. If you have Deathbringer's Will, you need to know like each individual proc, Paragon proc for Death's Choice. So you got to understand and know exactly what the proc is. Now is the time. That would be for Flare of the Heavens. So you have to find out this information individually when you're setting up your need to know to track the like the procs. Because ideally, when you're playing DPS, you want this to proc, that to proc, that to proc. You want like Shadowmourne to proc and this damaging ability to proc. And so you got like all your procs lined up before you cast your Shadow Word Pain or some sort of snapshot ability. Or maybe you have like 5, 6 cooldowns that all have like a 15, 20 second cooldown thing. Uh, like paladins, you want to pop wings and proc your trinkets and everything, and then you want to use your whole rotation and absolutely go crazy so you can get the most DPS out of it, because you want to make sure you line up all your cooldowns at the same time. So yeah, if you want to do that, you got to know like the names of your procs. So like Sunder Armor should be tracked by everybody. So you would put time, like you would put icon, then you like what you could do. So like this I'm going to show you right now how to set up where you can track and make sure this is popped up. Right here you can see use vampiric this, use that. A lot of times if you just track it, it'll track the debuff if it's there, but it won't blink if it's not there. So how to set up the blinking situation: you go here, then you go to the blink settings. So you go to blink settings, you can enable the blink settings, use it for out of combat, but like realistically it'll be used in combat. So like when you're hovering over a player or something, it'll be used that way. Only for bosses, I don't know. I have less like work, like it doesn't work as much when I'm doing for only for bosses, whereas it's for combat. I make the color whatever I want, and then I have the text while blinking. So the text while blinking will change to need sunders. So like I need sunder armor, I'd say need sunder armor, and so it'll say whatever you want it to say, right there if you have it tracking if there's nothing on it. So because I have no Sunder Armors on an enemy, it'll say need Sunder Armor, meaning there is no Sunder Armor on the enemy. So I could track if there's any Sunder Armor, even when there's no Sunder Armor, right? You want to be able to do that. Otherwise, you're not going to know what debuffs are missing from a boss or an enemy, right? So I do that. I say track Shattering Throw. Realistically, you don't need to track like all the shattering throws, but like I personally prefer it because I like to make sure all five are like if I'm using 5 warriors, I'll be like I want all 5 shattering throws being used during bloodlust. So the entire duration of bloodlust will have shattering throw on the boss, so every single DPS will get the maximum burst value damage that they have, right? So you want to have all your damage lined up, all the shattering throws to mitigate like more armor and get more damage out. Fury Warriors need it to reach perfect armor pen cap, because bosses are level 83, not level 80, meaning that you need a whole bunch of different cooldowns to actually penetrate all the boss's armor. So armor pen cap doesn't work where you wouldn't use Thunder Armor, Fairy Fire, or Shattering Throw, and you could just DPS anything and like you take the same damage. That's why your damage in RDF is insane, but your damage in raids is like much weaker. It's because level 83 monsters cannot be fully armor pen by level 80 players. So anyways, you track in the abilities for the bar right there. Enable bar, blink out of combat, change the color. I have red. Pop over here, play mode, and now I have my trinkets being tracked. I have my debuffs being tracked. If I want to put Shadow Word Pain on it, it'll track 18 seconds. Like you can see, 22 seconds, 22 seconds. So this would be a buff on myself, debuff on the enemy. There's a few other options that we can check. It is totems, so you could track your totems, spell cooldown. I mean, it's a little tricky like tracking all of this, but internal cooldown you just change and it just says a cooldown instead, so it doesn't really do much there. Spell cooldown, you could track the cooldowns of your abilities. So if you have like Mind Blast available, you could have it say use Mind Blast, or it says Mind Blast coming in 3, 2, 1, stuff like that. Um, and then there was one last one, I believe. There is, yeah, spell usable. So if a spell is usable, you can also track that. So in case you want to like use raid sack or have a raid sack available or something, or you have like a big cooldown, you can have it available. So yeah, that's how to set up your need to know. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the Deadly Boss mods video, and now you're using this to set up your need to know, and your need to know add-on is set up perfectly, so you guys can track all the things. I recommend Sunder Armor Shattering Throw on every player, including casters, so you can flame your warriors for not using either of them, as they are some of the most like important DPS cooldowns in the raid. Obviously, Bloodlust is like the easiest one to track because it's up here and you know when you have Bloodlust, you know when you don't. So you don't really need to track Bloodlust. You just flame the shaman. Use Bloodlust! Use Bloodlust! But some of this other stuff is not so easily tracked. You can also track other things and anything that you want to track, just track it with like figuring out the name, setting it up, testing it on like trash mobs before you go into a raid environment, and then make sure your need to know is set up. And then what I'm going to end this video on, because this is a continuation a little bit from the Deadly Boss mods, is you want to make sure that your Deadly Boss mods and your need to know do not like intermix along with like your cast time. Because, let's see, I can't hit it from there, but here, maybe I can, yeah, right here. You see how like my cast right here is kind of being interrupted a little bit? So you can see the cast bar. This will cover your need to know, and then like deadly boss mods will cover need to know. So like sometimes you want to track your things and you want to use this and then you want to see that and you don't want to like have it all like intermix and stuff. So you do need to make sure that you set up your UI in a way that your add-ons don't overwrite each other essentially. So make sure you're not doing that. And I think I'm gonna end the video on that. So there's still a good bit between all the add-ons that you can do, but I think I covered the majority of the basics. So thank you for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe. I'll catch y'all in the next video. Hitting the like button really helps me out. When you drop a comment below, it really helps me out. Not just from like the like not cooldown, not just the algorithm, but it helps me as a YouTube content creator getting your feedback and knowing what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, what you prefer, what you don't prefer. And I mean, I take every opinion and try to consider it as much as I can. So I appreciate all the feedback that you guys can give me. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.